We are live. I'm going to wait here patiently to see who joins us. If you're joining us, me, right now, post a comment so I know that you're there. And I'm not just being ambitious or hopeful that people are joining. Getting those numbers up. Hey, STFUFFS. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming over from locals. I appreciate that. How are we doing? Hey guys, I'm Lou. You probably know that. I'm going to wait a little while, let some more people join. If you're with us, please join the chat. Throw some words up in there. Exactly. Right now, let's see. I'm going to click on that. Us, the various voices in Lou's head. That's right. You're what I'm hearing right now. I have very interesting characters in my head right now. They're from all over the world. They all have really good intentions. Wherever they are, it's cold out like it is right now for me in Brooklyn. It is freezing, so I'm very happy to be inside where it's safe and warm. And I'm glad to have all of you warming up the insides of my skull. So thank you for that. Really appreciate that. We just lost a few people. I think there are a number of voices in my head that can't stand my voice. So once I start speaking, then they start hearing it and they're like, I'm out of here. Let's see. Black Brew Co. Happy Monday, Carnal. I'm about to send you an email. Thank you so much. For those of you who haven't heard of organic black cold brew, it is absolutely delicious. And they have a really nice thing going on Instagram. Some really nice short clips, beautifully done, well directed. Definitely check it out. Let's see. Mine just sound like snoring. Yeah, man, you got to wake them up. You got to wake up those voices inside. Let's see. Cool. So there's 7 of us in the room right now, or 8, I guess. Let's see. We got Andrew weighing in. Lou is my dad now. I'm happy to be here, Scout. That's your new nickname now, Andrew. I've watched you grow up, and I think it's about time that I start taking responsibility for all of your achievements. So that's why I've come back into your life as your pops. Sweet. So what have you guys been up to this Monday? This Monday. Have you guys had any fun things happen? Any interesting things? One thing that I've noticed, this is probably something that a lot of people have noticed, but on every single social media platform, when you like something, you give out hearts. And I don't know, is that cheapening love for you guys? What a corny thing for me to bring up. But I just noticed that. That's sort of like a premise that I would, probably a ton of people at open mics have come up with. You ever notice we're loving everything nowadays? What's with that? What's wrong? Are we trying to compensate for not loving enough in our real lives? That we have to go on social media and love other things? I mean, I only have so much love to give out. I hope you guys are enjoying the view. You are now in my living room, come kitchen. Got some books in the back right now. Okay. Joe Green brings us the first. Let's see. Andrew says love dropped below market value in 1995, I think. Yeah, and the love crash of 2008 was just insane. Too many subprime love loans. Thanks. My wife's over there giving me the giggle. Let's see. Joe Green asks, is the word ghetto racist? I don't think so, but I think it'd probably be easy to make a case that it is, depending on how it's used. I don't know. I don't mind the word though. Kind of like it. There's some pride too for people who were born in the ghetto. That's one thing I always took me by surprise when listening to rap music, where you'd have rappers rapping about how hard it is, like where they grew up in the streets and they don't give a shit and people dying and all that, but yet they're really all about representing it, where it's like, dude, get the fuck out of there, man. Get out of that place. Let's see. All right. SDFUFFS says ghetto is Yiddish, so I suppose it could be anti-Semitic. There, it would be, that's how we're used, right? We're pushing all Jews into the ghetto. Are you guys familiar with the mythology of the golem, the protector, where I don't know if it's like Jewish holy men or sort of witch doctors or something like that. Their version of it would build a creature out of clay, and that creature would protect the city. I first read about it in college. There's a book, I think, by Marge Piercy called She, He, I, or something like that. Excuse me, guys. Food just came here. One sec. Look at that. Look how I just juggled that. We got some Thai food coming from a local spot in the neighborhood. So my lady just went down to pick it up. I'm not going to be eating that for a while. So I'm going to have to either reheat some Thai food or figure something else out. Let's see. Greg Serene is commenting. He says, my new apartment has no doorways compatible with my pull-up bar. Is there an adjustable pull-up bar you recommend, or some dumbbell lat exercises? Wow. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough, man. I was, especially during the lockdown, I was feeding for a pull-up bar. I would have to go to a little kids playground and do pull-ups. The thing that sucked was everybody, you have all these parents there and they're all wearing masks, and I'm going there basically using my son as an excuse so I can wail on my lats. But the fact of the matter is, like, working out, especially doing a strenuous exercise like pull-ups with a mask over you, is just, oh man, it just sucks. It's just the worst. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking to, what are you going to be doing if you can't do pull-ups? Greg, what you should check out is there's a guy named Jeff Cavalier who has a program called Athlete X, and while the program might sound like a bullshit program, like anything with X in it, you think like, oh, that's kind of a bullshit thing. He's totally legit. He's an amazing personal trainer. And he has a lot of at-home exercises you could be doing if you don't have access to, a pull-up bar, or if your doorways are just shitty. So there's a lot of stuff you could be doing with your for your back. Yeah, so I would check that out. Athlete X, Jeff Cavalier. He's dope. Do you guys hear the rustling of paper bags? Let's see. See, apparently the TV show Grimm had an episode about the golem. Yeah. And I wonder with the golem, like, you make him out of clay and all that, but how does the golem get his strength? Is it purely magical, or can like a golem beef himself up? Like if Greg were to hook up with a golem and maybe they could, work out together and do pull-ups together, something like that. Like, yo, man, you gotta meet my boy, the golem. And he's got like some really good like door frames and stuff like that. He's got that shit on point. You should go work out with him. That'd be cool. Let's see. Greg said, let's see. Cavalier, I think there's an E after the R. As you can check him out. He also has really great supplements. One of his supplements that I've gotten basically addicted to over the years is his pre-workout mix, and he has really great flavors like orange. I got like berry blast and all that. And I've been doing the fucked up thing of drinking pre-workout mix and not working out. So there's been mornings when I've had like 2 servings of this stuff, and I'm just all like shaky and, all twitchy and all that. I think I might have a problem. I don't do hard drugs. I had a few beers last night. I've smoked before, pot, and done like edibles, but I've never done any hard drugs. But it's really scary when I'm like doing this, this pre-workout mix, and I'm like, shit, maybe meth is for me. Maybe that's the kind of stuff I like feeling the creepy crawlies, like the worms, in my skin and stuff, and like my capillaries just popping. Plus, I wonder how long I can do it. Like I wonder how many servings before I just start. I go on like a rampage or something like that, or I just start pulling shit down. Let's see. Andrew says, "Nice, we get to eat dinner with Lou. You get to eat dinner with your pops tonight." So, although I'm gonna, if you're eating anything nice, tell me about it. But I'm not gonna be rude and talk to you guys with a mouthful of food. I might have a mouthful of San Pellegrino, but I won't be doing the food. Dave says, "Jesus, your food guy rang the damn nuke alert warning siren." Yeah, that was pretty loud. It's an old building from the 60s. I don't know if it's always been this way. If they sort of have the doorbell set to the same volume as you would have like a nuclear warning system, or is it something where, because there's so many old people that live here, they just decided to up the volume on that. Joe Green asks, "Who are your Mount Rushmore of comedians?" Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a great question. Mount Rushmore of comedians. I would have to put my man George Carlin up there. George Carlin was a god to me. When he died, I wept like a baby. I was very upset about that. I'd have to put Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor is fantastic. And that's sort of like typical, if you ask most stand-up comedians, those two are probably going to be up at the top. But then you have, comedy actors, and let's see. I mean, Jim Carrey is probably. I'm 38, so looking back, it's really difficult to imagine. Like, it would be very difficult to say that Jim Carrey did not have like a huge influence on everything comedic that I grew up watching, whether it was from Living Color or even his shitty movie Once Bitten. You guys ever seen that? It has a place in my heart, because I think I was probably like 3 years old when it was made. And Lauren Hutton is in it, who is gorgeous. So it has a special place in my heart, but it's probably a piece of shit movie. I don't know. It's kind of one of those 80s movies that is more nostalgic driven than actual than being good. So yeah, I'm probably gonna. Yeah, I could probably keep going. The Kids in the Hall have had such a huge impact on me. A while back, I was going through old YouTube clips of the Kids in the Hall. Of course, they're old because Kids in the Hall are no longer doing something. Although they were supposed to do something, I think, for Amazon, but I'm not sure what's going on with that, with COVID and all of that. And damn, the Kids in the Hall were original. Kids in the Hall were the Kids in the Hall. You watch those sketches, and they have such a clear voice. They have such a comedic, point of view that it's clear. And I remember having a discussion of like, hey, who was better? In the 90s, was the Kids in the Hall better, or like SNL better, or Mad TV better? And it's a really, comparing anything to SNL back in that time is, it's a little insane, because SNL, you obviously have insane writing staff. You have, some of the best performers ever. And then every week you have a celebrity host that often included, people like Tom Hanks, or just incredible, the best of the best. And then the Kids in the Hall were the five guys, the Kids in the Hall. So when it comes to like who's the best and all that, I mean, you're you're up against a lot of competition. But man, the kids in the hall were insane in all the best ways, taking chances, putting stuff out there where you look back, you're like, holy shit, that came out of somebody's mind. And I think, like all other like sketch comedy that came before them, like Monty Python and SCTV and all that, and of course, SNL. It's so important to see, to have people show you what the possibilities are of comedy and what you can do. I recently actually, going back to my Mount Rushmore, going and listening to Richard Pryor's "That Nigger's Crazy." Like, it's not even an hour long. I think it's like 37 minutes, and it's insanely funny, and it still holds up, and it's incredible. It's incredible. Like, even how many years removed. When did that come out? I don't know what year it came out. I would say 40 years removed, or even more than that. You're like, holy shit, still blowing you away. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. Ian asks, thoughts on George's runoff kerfuffle. I haven't been following it. I don't know what's going on down there. I just want to make sure that I can go to Atlanta at some point, because I had a really good time every time I was down there. Especially the Fee is down there, and I'm big fans of Fee, and also my boy Sean Malone and the crew. So no idea what's going on there. But hopefully things turn out for the best, and we could all move on with each other and our country. See, Eric says, "What up? What up, Eric? How you doing, brother? Nice to see you." Let's see. We got some more stuff. And I hope you guys are cool with as how loose this is. We're just kind of hanging out. Let's see. Never Like the Guy says, Lou, this isn't working for you. I don't know. I bet a bunch of things aren't working for me right now. Thank you. I really needed to hear that. As a person who constantly doubts himself, who needs to be reminded of that I should be more confident and all that, I really needed this cryptic message. Lou, this isn't working for you. That's going to derail so much of what I'm doing right now. But whatever isn't working for me, it's Monday. I hope it's working for you. Okay. Nick Lombardi says, what you up to, Lou? What's next for you after We the Internet? Well, thank you for the question, Nick. For those of you who don't know, I'm no longer producing content with We the Internet TV. I'm independent now. If you look down at the scroll at the bottom of the screen, you can find me at thelouperez.locals.com, where you could give me money. Isn't that awesome? For the price of a latte a month, you can buy me a latte a month. So think about that. Just think about what you could be doing to improve the life of a comedian who loves you and needs you so much. So you can check me out over there. I also have the Lou Perez podcast, named after me. I'm the eponymous. And I'm really excited about that. I have a bunch of episodes in the can with a lot of people who I really so happy that I got to talk to. The latest release is from a singer-songwriter, storyteller, documentarian named Luke Dick, who has an amazing documentary called Red Dog, which is about an old topless bar in Oklahoma City called the Red Dog, where Luke's mom used to bartend and she used to strip. So, just imagine a son talking to his mother, who's in her late 50s, early 60s, as well as all her friends, about what it was like in the 70s at this rowdy bar. And there's love, and there's drugs, and there's fights, and there's nudity, obviously. So that was a really cool thing, because my wife and I, we watched the documentary Red Dog on Amazon, and I was like, you know what? Why don't I try to reach out to this guy see what happens. See if I can, get him to come on. And I contacted him through Facebook, and he said he put me in touch with some of his manager or publicist, and I got him on the show. And I think like Ian, the question that Ian asked about, what do I think about what's happening in Georgia and all this other stuff, and there's some real heavy stuff happening in the country and in all of our lives right now, that I think I look for the opportunities when I'm able to spend some time just being blown away by great art and just great storytelling. And that's what Red Dog was for me. And the idea that I get to, sit down and talk to somebody for an hour about something that they made that I love is it's awesome. And I think that's probably one of the best things about being connected in this way. So hopefully you guys are having that same experience here. Also Red Dog, there's a soundtrack that's available as well. So you guys should definitely go check that out, because Luke Dick is a really, really talented singer, songwriter as well. Let's see. Kids in the Hall are why I love the show Superstore. I've never seen Superstore. I've never seen not one episode. But if there's an association with the Kids in the Hall or something that's making you think of the Kids in the Hall, I should probably check it out. Let's see. Andrew writes, Dave Foley was doing Whose Line for a while, but I think he's still on the hook alimony from when he was married and on news radio. Yeah, for those of you who don't know the story, I think I first heard the story of Dave Foley's just nightmarish divorce up in Canada. I think I heard it on the Joe Rogan Experience, where I think, Andrew, you may have heard it. And I don't know much other than from what Dave Foley said, but it was just such a nightmare divorce, where, basically the judge was granting, I think, his ex more money than Dave Foley could possibly make. It was like an impossible sum. Like he was not making that much money. And I don't know if he's been back to Canada, because I don't know if he risks being arrested or something like that. I don't know. I don't know the personal lives of any of the characters, of any of the players on Kids in the Hall. But damn, Dave Foley's a funny dude. Just wow. Let's see. We got John just shared something with me about Mario Lopez plays sexy Colonel Sanders in a Lifetime movie because it's 2020. Is that real? Is that legit? Is that a legit thing? They're going to be using like different spices in the KFC product because Mario Lopez is Latino. Are they going to spice it up or something like that? I don't know. What do? For absurdism, nothing beats the young ones. Yeah, you guys, the young ones, I think it was back in was that in the 70s or the 80s? I know that one of the characters had a girl's name. Vivian, I think it was, or something like that. That's what I remember from Let's see. We got people in the comments sharing links, y'all. Come on, look at that. Let's see. Let me see what we got here. John says, I just finished the End of Gender book by your pal, Deborah. So you got a hell of a shout out in the thank you. Oh, did I? Oh, wow. That's cool. I got to, it's so funny. I got the book right here. So I'm going to be checking out the thank you. Not in real time, not in front of you guys. But I will check that out. I got a signed edition. I got to say that. My buddy Deborah, who happened to be the first guest on my podcast. So if you guys haven't heard it yet, you can go check out the Lou Perez podcast, where all great podcasts are streamed, whether it's Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud. Go check it out. And yeah, I hope you enjoy your book. My mother took me to a double feature of Fast Times and Richard Pryor live on the Sunset Strip on my 11th birthday in 1982. You think about it. Yeah, like just think about that. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, right? That has sex scenes. What else? You got Judge Reinhold jerking off in the bathroom. You have a storyline where one of the girls, high school girls, gets an abortion. I think she's a victim of statutory rape by a guy, a much older man. And then after that, you got Richard Pryor live on the Sunset Strip. Is that the one where Richard Pryor is talking about, man, I was in Africa and shit? Like, is that the one where he was doing that? Like, I think it's the one with the red. I don't know if it's the red suit. And like doing the joke about him being set on fire. But just imagine that, like, you were 11. Going and checking that out. And I had a similar upbringing where we had HBO and, the shit that we watched as kids. It's inappropriate probably. But we're here. We're here now. We get to talk about it. And also those are two classic things too. I love the idea of the double feature, Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Richard Pryor. Except I'm imagining what the Venn diagram of fans of both would be. Let's see. Andrew says, out of all the presidents, who do you think is the most gentle lover? Also, this is most definitely working for you. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that. We'll see if our buddy who commented a little further up in the comments has changed his mind. I hope he has. Out of all the presidents, who do you think is the most gentle lover? I mean, can you imagine like Jimmy Carter just like talking dirty but like gentle dirty? I can imagine that. I bet Obama too. I bet Obama's really great in bed. I bet he listens to Michelle. I'm sure he's a very good lover. I don't know. Maybe one day we'll find out. Maybe I'm waiting for that. Like, President Obama has written, like 2 or 3 memoirs already. He hasn't written the erotic memoir yet, right? I want to read that one for sure. Let's see. Excuse me. Jerry says, "Oh, I thought We the Internet was your channel." A lot of people do. Yeah, a lot of people. A lot of people think that. I think probably because my big old head is at front and center of so many of the videos that we did. But yeah, let's see. Joe Green asks, "Why aren't you more famous?" Good fucking question, man. What's going on there? I hope you have at least one friend. That if you have at least one friend, and then they stuff with them, that's 22 people, man. 22 people who could be trying to make me famous. So. Let's see. Taylor says, "Wow, a latte. Does your wife know your love is bought so cheap?" Yes, she does. She does know that. She knows that 100%. I lucked out, man. I really lucked out because my wife is no doubt a catch. And people, will see my wife and be like, "Wow, Lou must have like really high standards." It's like, no, I was a pig, man. I was a fucking pig. And I was so fortunate to meet my wife that, she, put lipstick on a pig. I'm still a pig, but I'm very fortunate to be wifed up with her. So she's on the couch and she's probably going to fucking throw something at me right now. Let's see. I'm already stoned, Anybody else stoned right now? If you are, I hope you're not operating any machinery or anything like that. How do you guys feel about, decriminalization on the national level? How do you feel about that, guys? I know a lot of libertarians are happy about that, but unhappy about the taxation part. One thing that I was thinking about when it comes to, I remember hearing, so many arguments about why marijuana should be legalized, and you have the people who are like, "Oh man, you make a killing on the taxes, just tax the shit out of that, and you could have it pay for so much stuff." And that always rubbed me the wrong way. because I'm of the mind, something should be legal because it's the right thing to do, not because you can make money off of it, right? Like, I mean, if that was the, if that was the variable that you needed, like, hey, can we make money off of this thing? I mean, just think of how many awful things would be legal, So I think that's always, it's always interesting because oftentimes when you're getting to arguments about legalization, moral issues and ethical issues come up, and it's just like, here you are trying to squeeze every penny out of this bud, and that's I just think it's a little fucked up. Let's see. I think you got to set up a regular thing with Deborah. If she fought intellectual MMA, she'd be a monster. Yeah, she'd be great. That would be cool. But I feel like, the same way that Joe Green asked, why aren't I famous? I think Deborah deserves somebody with more clout. I think she deserves somebody better, guys. Sorry. But totally, Deborah, if you want to give me a shot and we could do a show together, that'd be awesome. I love that. Let's see, we're going back to the Kids in the Hall. Mark McKinney from Kids in the Hall is one of the main actors in Superstore. Oh, okay. I get it now. All right. Mark McKinney's awesome. The Chicken Lady, Darrill. Oh my God, his fucking character, Darrill. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I shared on my social media. My son has a book that was given to him, a children's book called B is for Brooklyn, and every page is a different letter, and it's like A is for Avenue, and B is for Brooklyn Bridge. And when you get to I is for intellectuals. And the picture of this douchebag that they picked for an intellectual, dude's at a little fucking table. He has his laptop. He's bald with a ponytail, glasses on, and like a little glass of wine. And it's like, he's like the douche who, considers Starbucks his office. Like, that's what intellectual is. That's what intellectual is nowadays. And it's so rank. It's just like the dude, like no woman wants hitting on her. Like, oh my God, this fucking guy's gonna talk to me, or he's like the dude who goes antiquing and talks down to the salespeople. That's what an intellectual is. Let's see. I just read a piece actually from, I think it was like 1987, about basically the danger of intellectuals and the role that they've played in some of the biggest atrocities around the world, in particular when it comes to like the Soviet Union and that sort of thing, where intellectuals they care more about ideas than people. Certain intellectuals, these ones specifically. And it started hitting me like, oh yeah, that does sound like a lot of people. Like the people who know how to run a business but never ran a business. They have they have this idea of what needs to be done in order to succeed or to have a successful thing, but yet never done it themselves. The people who talk for the working class and all that, but yet don't hang out with the working class. That sort of thing. Like, let's see. Mm-hmm. Eric asks, remember that animation block MTV did years ago? There was a show called The Head that was weird. Yes, I remember that. Was it Liquid Television? Is that what it was called on MTV? Because there was a really slick cartoon called like Eon Flux, where it was a woman sort of assassin, and she was assassinating people. And I remember the one image was her eye was open, and then a fly flew by, and her eye went, and she caught the fly with her eyelash, and it had like a was it Salvador Dalí and Luis Buñuel had a short film called Un Chien Andalou, the Andalusian dog, and it's famous for for a shot where a razor blade cuts an eye open. So it had like that kind of a similar thing to it. Maybe I'm just bringing the two together. But yes, I remember the head. The head was about a guy, a fucking huge noggin like this. And inside his head was an alien, I think. And when the guy would get like picked on, the alien, his head would split open, the alien would pop out and take care of business and beat the shit out of whoever was there. Yeah, a lot of weird stuff. There was the Brothers Grunt. Do you remember that? Brothers Grunt. Just imagine like four yoked dudes with just muscles, and they're just really they're all trying to push out just like the most painful turd you could imagine. That's what I remember of the Brothers Grunt. Fucking insane the shit that we used to watch. Let's see. Andrew said, "Holy shit, Lou, that's a damn good Pryor." Damn, man, thank you. I really appreciate you and shit, motherfucker. Damn, Jack. I could do Pryor, but I have to have the word shit or motherfucker in it. It's just that's just how I could do Pryor. But I appreciate it. Thank you. Eric asked, Lou, is that why you have a red suit, Pryor? Yeah, that's true. So for those of you who might remember, with the internet, I was doing a character called Doug Allen. And Doug Allen was the edgiest character you could imagine. You know, he was the only comedian who had the balls to make fun of Donald Trump. So his Trump spiel was in the his first trailer, his first stand-up special, and then there was a stand-up special where Doug Allen takes on, you know, the most sacred of cows, the one thing you are not allowed to make fun of, and that is straight white men. So for that one, I close the straight white men trailer doing an impression of Richard Pryor. So for that, I bought a suit on Amazon, a red suit, and then like a black tuxedo shirt. And the suit was like $100 on Amazon. It's like $100, and it was really tight. And I said, if I ever meet the little Chinese boy who made it, I'm going to tell him he could have, let out some more room in the ass. It's like, have some pride in your work. But at the end of that, Doug Allen does an impression of Richard Pryor. So that's what happened. And then I just loved the suit. I thought it was like a fly suit. I thought it looks cool, and it's probably me donning that suit is the closest that I'll get to reaching a Richard Pryor. Just wearing something that that looks like something that he wore. So it's an homage, and I love red too. It's probably my favorite color. Let's see, what do we got here? Excuse me for coughing, guys. A little known fact is coming your way, guys. Fast Times was based on a San Diego high school, and the double feature was in a ghetto theater, and the audience was lit. Nice. Yeah, I think Cameron Crowe, who wrote way to go on to, is it not famous? What's it? Not famous? Something famous or something? He would go on to write a movie about like sort of a rock band. So Cameron Crowe wrote Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I think he wrote an article about it, and then they turned that into a movie. Is it Not So Famous? What a terrible title that would be if that's what it is. Let's see. Andrew says, Lou, I share all your stuff. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's super helpful. Anything that not anything, yeah, it'd be great if you shared everything that I put out there, but obviously you guys have taste, and some stuff is just not working for me. So share the stuff that is working for me and working for you. I really would appreciate that. And if you go down to thelouperez.locals.com, the cool thing about the community over there is that you don't have to worry about, being thrown in Facebook jail or having your account suspended on Twitter. It's a place where we can hang and you can share stuff that, might get you in trouble elsewhere. And I hope you would think about coming down to be a part of that. Let's see. Next time I'm in the city, I'll introduce you to Shuli. Maybe you guys can set up some dates. Is that Shuli from the Howard Stern show? Shuli's one of those guys. I don't know what Shuli looks like, because I remember just listening to the show. I used to be my alarm clock back in college and afterwards, the Howard Stern show, and I would hear about Shuli, but I don't know what Shuli looks like. Let's see. Joe Green writes, I put so much of your material on my Facebook wall that it's basically a Lou Perez fan page. I appreciate that, Joe. I hope that hasn't gotten you in trouble. I'm actually a little surprised. I don't want to jinx myself, but I've had a pretty good run on Facebook, not being thrown in Facebook jail. I think I may have had some things taken down, maybe a handful of things at the most, but I've never been thrown in Facebook jail. And I don't know if I have to chalk that up to maybe I'm okay, maybe I'm a good person, or maybe I've lucked out and have people who follow me or are friends with me on Facebook who aren't the type who are going to try to get me kicked off. And I wish there were just more people like that. Let's see. Andrew asks, what are your thoughts on Ayn Rand's and/or Ludwig von Mises' work? I think it was Mises you meant. When it comes to Ayn Rand, I've only read Anthem, her novella. I liked it. I thought it was cool. I think, love her or not, Ayn Rand is, was a very brave person. And she obviously had a huge impact in the lives of so many people. That's probably like a cop out as far as me talking about her. I don't know enough about objectivism to say what parts I like or I don't like. But I think the notion that you're an individual and your life means something, I think is really important. And it seems like what I see most about any criticism of Ayn Rand seems to be a caricature of her or her work. One of the things that I remember that a lot of people point out is like, oh, here's this, this person who's against the government, the use of force and all that. But then, at the end of her life, she's using Social Security and I think Medicaid and all that. And it's like, well, those are things she was forced to pay into, right? It's not like she just started using them, like she was forced to pay into it. I think if you're forced to pay into something, it's probably your right to then use those services. So that's what I have to say about Ayn. When it goes von Mises, was it von Mises who came up with? Was it Mises or Hayek who came up with the idea of pricing, and that people individual people don't know what the price of something should be. So you can't have like a top-down declaration of how much a banana is going to cost. Look how fucked up these bananas are. Like, does that look appealing at all? I don't know how much we paid for those, but you can't have sort of a planned economy where prices are determined, right? How you determine prices. It's these millions and billions of interactions with people. I think that's a really interesting concept, and I'm sure there's definitely more to him. And if I got that wrong, my apologies. Knowing the clientele, I'm sure you'll throw something in the comments to be like, actually. But I appreciate that. Let's see. Jerry asks, "Are you a libertarian?" Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think I'm on the libertarian front. Yeah. I've been a small L libertarian for a while now, probably 10 years or something like that. Yeah. Okay, let's see. We got some more questions. If Trump had decriminalized before the election, that would have been a coup de grace on Biden, but the values voters, prudes, would have gotten their panties in a bunch. Could be. Maybe. Let's see, this is in regards to Deborah. Deborah needs someone who can bring her out of her shell. And the original interviews, you could tell she was holding in a laugh. You can tell she has a Dr. Drew kind of dry humor. Yeah, Deborah's awesome. She plays just the perfect straight man. And from her own description, she says she has resting bitch face, and which makes it perfect, foil or a perfect compliment to me being the fool. Yeah, she's great. And a lot of that stuff, we cut out smirks and things like that in order to make jokes, play better, and the awkward, and to sort of create more of awkwardness and that sort of thing. A little bit of secrets there. A little bit of secrets. Let's see. Timothy asks, technically, how many times was Elizabeth Taylor married? Should you count the remarriages or not? That would actually be a great question for a buddy of mine out in California. His name's Samir. He would know all about that shit. He would know all about that. Taylor asks, weren't we supposed to have received Lou Perez Ask Me Anything drinking game rules before this started? You know what? That's probably the much better way to play this game. Yeah. Next time, I think we could probably do that. Because the next one, I'm looking to do these every month from now on. But if things get a little crazier, we could do it more often. Or if I get a drinking habit going rather than this bullshit pre-workout mix addiction that I have going on, we can party there. So if any of you guys are drinking, I hope you're enjoying it. Take a sip from me. Andrew asks, was Liquid Television the Alex Winter project? I don't think so. I think he had a different project, something that, if you guys don't know about Red Letter Media, they're a YouTube channel. They're really great. They're fantastic. They do a series called Review, where they watch old movies that they love and they want to rewatch. And one of them is the movie Freaked that Alex Winter did. And in that conversation, they bring up the series that you're referencing, Andrew. I forget what it's called, but it was also insane. Liquid TV was dope, and then they made that unbelievably shit Ian Fox movie with Charlize Theron. Oh wow, I almost forgot about that. Yeah, they did a live action, but you got to see Charlize Theron as a brunette. So, hey, Miss Chan. Whoa, wow, holy shit, that was an amazing Richard Pryor accent. Haha. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I had a fantastic time on your podcast, I guess maybe a couple of weeks back. Thank you so much for having me. Let's see. Andrew asks, how often is too often for a landlord to visit a renting tenant asking for a friend? I don't know, man. Do you owe him money, or is there an affair happening? These are very important questions. Jerry asks, my wife asked if doing an impersonation of Pryor, if that is vocal blackface. It's black throat. I think that's exactly what it's called. I am a perpetrator of black throat. That's what I'm doing. I mean, talking about that, I think the best guy who does a Sylvester Stallone impression is the comedian Tommy Davidson. And I think I mentioned, did I mention A Living Color? Yeah, I mentioned A Living Color when we were talking about Jim Carrey. Tommy Davidson does an insane Sylvester Stallone. That's worth looking up on YouTube. It's just perfect. Let's see. Almost Famous was the movie that Cameron Crowe wrote, that's the one I was thinking about. And look at all of, I got not one, not two, but three corrections about Almost Famous. Let's see. Let's see. Cool. Jerry asks, who is more brave, Ayn Rand or RBG? Whew. I don't know. I would have to know more about their lives. I think Ayn Rand, I mean, having to escape the Soviet Union, that's a pretty tough one, for sure. Let's see. Eric asks, where can I buy Lou Perez merch? I'm very happy you brought that up. My goal is to start a printful printful store where you get like T-shirts and that sort of thing. Hopefully, I'll have that up and running by Christmas time, and I'll probably have a link to it on my website, thelouperez.com. So that would be great. One of the things that I want to do a version of the AOC sweatshirt that says "Tax the Rich." I want it to say "Sales Tax the Rich." Let's see. Eric asks, anybody seen the Zappa documentary Alex Winter did? Not sure we're talking the same Alex Winter. No, same Alex Winter. Yeah. I gave money to that on the Kickstarter, I believe. Or it turns out Alex explained it that the Kickstarter was to help archive the Zappa tapes and stuff like that. But I haven't seen the documentary yet. Zappa is one of those guys who I'm very interested in as a person. In particular, his stances on free speech and that sort of thing. And I like some of his music, but then his other music is just so out there for me that I just can't understand it. That I can appreciate it. And I can appreciate it the way that I can appreciate sort of high level math, where it's like I can't do it, but I appreciate just how hard it is and how wild it is that he's doing it. So I wish, maybe, I don't know, maybe one day I'll be able to get Frank Zappa. We'll see. We got some more questions. Based Lindsay asks, which element of the Great Reset do you expect to yield greater prosperity? The abolition of private property, the abolition of privacy, or voluntary economic degrowth? That is a leading question, Based Lindsay. Actually, I don't know that much about the Great Reset other than having seen it in sort of headlines on National Review. But that all sounds terrible. That sounds so bad. Let's see. John McLaughlin says anybody can do a Sylvester Stallone impression, to be honest. Dude, calling you out, bro. Make a video. I want to see you do Sylvester Stallone. Let's see. David asks, hey, Lou. Nice, I didn't miss it. My question for you is, what's your favorite joke structure or type of premise? What is my favorite? What's my favorite premise? Well, I think, any joke structure, there needs to be, obviously set up, punchline, right? In one way or another, or at least set up and then a reversal, or something that goes against expectation, the shock, if you will. George Carlin had a problem with some jokes being called, just done for shock value. It's like, because that's what it is. The punchline is a shock. It's something that isn't necessarily expected. I don't know if this is my, necessarily a joke structure or a type of premise, but recently I posted something where I said, I made a deal with my parents. I said, if you want a grandkid, you're in charge of foreplay. So, I thought that was fun. With no audience, it's really tough to make that sound funny. Let's see. Eric says printful is badass. Thank you, brother. Let's see. John Zimmer. Let's see. John Zimmer asks, why didn't you circumcise your kid? Subtle way of saying fuck off to dudes in yarmulkes. Oh my God. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine an anti-Semite, going all the way and refusing to circumcise his son because of his anti-Semitism? That's hilarious. I want to explore that character some more. But on that front, for one, it's one of those things where even you ask me, why didn't you circumcise your kid? Normal people would be like, how the fuck does this guy know that? But the reality is, you know that because you're here and because you're talking to me. So I brought that up during I think I brought it up with the discussion with Deborah. So, and I think part of it, not going forward with the circumcision is one. I'm not religious. I'm not Jewish. I'm not Muslim, and I just couldn't bear the idea of hurting my child, even if it's for what's called like a brief moment. I just didn't want to go through with that. Later on in life, if he decides that he wants to lose a little bit up top on the that's up to him. But yeah, we didn't want to do it. It also doesn't help that I'm the middle child of 5 boys, and my mother says my oldest brother had a circumcision. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful circumcision, but the doctor did such a bad job on me that my 2 younger brothers aren't circumcised. So maybe there's a little bit of that. Let's see. Jerry's leaving us. Bye, Lou. It was wonderful doing my dishes and listening to you be bored. Well, thank you, Jerry. Hopefully those. I would watch a live stream of you doing your dishes. It's working for you. Black Brew says I should play Frank Zappa in a documentary. I would. I totally would. You know what would be hard though? All the smoking. Big smoker. Can you imagine how lame that would be to have the opportunity of a lifetime to play Zappa? And I'm like, yeah, can we do it without cigarettes? Joseph Smith says Zappa's musical persona seemed to bleed through during his congressional hearing. Well, I remember one of the details that was brought up during the congressional hearing is that he had albums that were getting stamped with the explicit lyrics or explicit content tag or whatever, or stamp, and he's like, a huge part of his catalog, there are no lyrics. It's just music. So that's pretty funny. Let's see. Let's see. Joseph Smith said, Lou unfortunately didn't have the best collar. Your younger brothers should be thankful to you. Yes, they should. 100%. I remember in high school, one of my good friends, my younger brothers are almost like 2 years younger, like 17 months or something like that. So my buddy was like 2 weeks older than me. When he found out that they were that they were uncircumcised, he had to see it. He's like, what? It freaked him out, and it didn't freak him out. The idea was like, what? I can't believe this. And at least one of my brothers showed him his dick, and my buddy was just laughing his ass off. He got all red in the face, beet red. He thought it was the most hilarious thing he'd ever seen. And there's something funny too. There's something funny to a foreskin, right? So in a way, I mean, I'm sort of leaving my kid with more material, literally and figuratively. It's funny. You could do more stuff with it. Let's see. We have a Buddy Hackett joke coming our way. What's the definition of a bathroom menace? A baby circumcised by a cross-eyed rabbi. Buddy Hackett. Rest in peace. that joke didn't kill because I told it, but rest in peace. Andrew says, just do candy cigarettes and eat them whole instead. You remember that? Remember growing up getting candy cigarettes? We used to be able to buy cigarettes for our parents, legit. My mom, when she was pregnant with me, she drank Budweisers and she smoked Marlboro Lights, like throughout the whole pregnancy. And I think I was like an 8-pound child. And part of me wonders, like, could I, if she hadn't, like, could I be 6 foot? Could I be 6 feet tall? Like, did she screw me in my 5'10" just because that bitch couldn't stop smoking while she was pregnant? But I also think it makes me a little bit more interesting. I don't know. Probably did something to my, to my DNA. Let's see. Sean Gross asks, what would you be doing if not comedy? Oh, that's a good question, Sean. I think if I wasn't doing comedy, there's a chance I would be maybe doing teaching, maybe law. I think maybe law would probably be something that's up there. My dad always wanted me to become a lawyer. I did not become a lawyer, but yeah, probably something in those fields. I might be writing in another capacity. I've, even though I've been doing comedy for a long time, I've dipped my toe into writing, essays and I guess columns and that sort of thing. If you guys go to my website, thelouperez.com, you can go down to the writing section and follow the links over to the writing I did for Spiked magazine, which I'm looking forward to writing more stuff like that. And actually something that I have coming up, I don't know if you guys heard of it, but there was a study that was done about so-called right-wing echo chambers on YouTube. And they had all these different channels and they basically put them into all these different bins, whether it's far left, center, right, far right. And it turns out that We the Internet was thrown into the far right section with, I think it was links to Jordan Peterson lectures, and Brett Weinstein is there as well. And that seems a little odd. At no point was I asked, hey, you used to produce all the stuff for We the Internet. Would you like to respond to these accusations? So that's actually my writing project for this week, is to issue a response to that. Now that involves me, reading this like 30-page study, but to me it just seems on its surface it seems so weird, and just not how I identify or how I think of myself. But yeah, we'll we'll see what the deal is with that. Okay. We're going to do a few more minutes, maybe like 5 more minutes. Is that cool with you guys? Let's see. Sean asks, what podcast have you not been on that you'd like to be on? I'd love to see you on Timcast in IRL. Yeah, I would love to be on Timcast. That'd be great. Obviously, being able, getting on the Joe Rogan Experience would be incredible. I've been listening to Joe for years, so both as a fan, but then also as somebody who's, trying to do comedy and podcasting and all that, it'd be awesome. So Sean, if you're boys with Joe, if you're down in Texas, let him know that I'm I'll make time. I'll make time for him. Eric says, haha, I saw that list on Gundam's video. Eric, could you either DM me or something like that, or hit me up at info@thelouperez.com if you want to send an email. I'd like to check out that video. Base Lindsay says, NPC Daily tipped them off about you being a fascist libertarian. Yeah, for those of you who haven't read the article in NPC Daily about me being a fascist, alt-right, libertarian, blah, 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 it's hilarious. And really happy that I've been a target, if you will, of the NPC Daily. Oh. David says, I'd love to see what they consider far left. I bet almost nothing. Not sure. I'm not sure what gets thrown in the far left either. Andrew asked, which do you like the most, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, or Star Wars universe? Well, I've only watched one of those. I've watched the Star Wars stuff, and this is how crazy it is. I didn't watch the original Star Wars. I had never seen the original Star Wars, and then I went and watched the prequels first. All three of them, all three prequels, in the theater. How fucking nuts is that? So I'd never seen A New Hope or, Return of the Jedi or anything like that. I saw the prequels first. How sad. Oh my fucking God. I'm thinking about it. All right. Anything else here? Well, guys, I want to thank all of you for sticking with me, for coming and hanging out for a little bit. Like I said, I'm looking to do this more often. More often meaning once a month, and then maybe we'll bump it up for a little bit. I really appreciate your support. If you haven't already, think about going to thelouperez.locals.com and being part of the community. And of course, if you like my work, please share it and subscribe. And hope to see you soon. And DMs are open and all that. Hit me up. Talk to you guys later.